the best investment you can make when you're in your 20s, and that is tomorrow's my 29th birthday, which means I only have 1 year left until I enter my 30s. And this got me thinking about the past decade and some of the money decisions I've made along the way. Now, when you enter your 20s, there are a lot of big life decisions that you're coming into and that you're forced to make. Some of them can set you up for success, while others can really slow down your ability to build wealth. And so that inspired me to make a video for you to talk about some of the best purchases you can make in your 20s. Starting off, number one, a gym membership. Socrates says, "No man has the right to be an amateur in the matter of physical training. It is a shame for a man to grow old without seeing the beauty and strength of which his body is capable." A gym membership is by far one of the best purchases you can make in your 20s because the list of benefits that come with it are pretty much endless. I mean, think about it. Some of the benefits are getting in shape, building muscle, looking better, feeling stronger, feeling more confident, improving your health, relieving stress, protecting yourself from injury, you're pushing your physical limits, you're building mental strength, you're seeing what you're capable of, you're meeting new people that are like-minded, you're potentially finding a spouse, you're building a bunch of good habits, and you're developing consistency. Stan Efferding, who is a powerlifter and a bodybuilder, he used to talk about how if you build the discipline to become a bodybuilder, you have all of the same characteristics as a millionaire. You're hardworking, you're consistent, you're pushing through pain, you're not going to stop just because things are difficult. You discipline yourself even when you don't feel like it. You're always growing and improving, and you're targeting your weaknesses. And those are just the things related to bodybuilders, but honestly, any physical training will carry over to pretty much every single area of your life. And that's because it's very difficult for a weak mind to build a strong body, which is honestly one of the greatest benefits and one of my favorite benefits of working out. Your mental state has almost no choice but to improve along with your physical state. And not to mention, it's just straight up fun to be jacked and athletic when you're young. So take advantage of that now and get fit and athletic now, because as you get older, your body's only going to break down, it's only going to get harder. And in fact, the more fit that you get now, easier it is when you get older, because it's only going to take about 20% of the effort to maintain what you have versus building it. So make sure you go sign up for your local gym and find a love for physical training. Number two is a used car. When you're in your 20s, every dollar that you have is absolutely vital. And this is because you have time on your side, which is the greatest wealth builder that exists, due to compound interest. Now, when you're 20 and you're working a low-paying job, the last thing you want to do is kill your chances at building wealth by getting a huge car loan that far exceeds your income for the year. For example, if you make 15 bucks an hour, you probably should not be buying a $40,000 vehicle just because you think that you can make that $400 per month payment. Now, in my number one wealth killer video, I talk about how the price of a new car is around double what you see at the dealership in the first 5 years. And so if you get a $40,000 vehicle, it's really going to cost you around $80,000 for the first 5 years that you own it, when all of that money could have been saved and invested to build your wealth over 5 years instead of taking it away and giving that money to somebody else. And to help you understand how crucial it is that you start investing early, let's compare two people who start investing, one at age 20 and one at age 30. So if both of these people invested $1, one at age 20, one at age 30, the 20-year-old by the time they retire would have $88, and the 30-year-old would only have $32. That means those first 10 years of investing are worth more than half of your entire investing journey. And it also means that $1 today is worth $88 in the future. Now, this is important to understand because when you're young and you're not making a whole lot, it feels like saving isn't really doing much for you. But I promise you, saving and investing early on pays off in the long run, and 50-year-old you is going to be incredibly grateful. The third best purchase you can make in your 20s is books. Now, books are a phenomenal way to compact years of experience from an expert into just a few hours of reading for you. And I'm not talking about reading fictional books, which you can certainly do if you enjoy it. I'm mainly talking about nonfiction books that can help you grow skills. For example, I'm interested in investing, so I have countless investing books on my bookshelf that have helped shape my investing strategy and approach over the years. Specifically, anything related to Warren Buffett or Charlie Munger. But for example, if you wanted to learn how to be more stoic and wise, you could read Ryan Holiday's books. Or if you're interested in economics, read anything by John Maynard Keynes. If you want to understand how power works, read Robert Greene. The point is, experts have shared their knowledge for many, many years in the form of books, and even though it's not as exciting, there's tons of value that you can find. And usually in every book that I read, there's typically at least one golden nugget that I take away from and that I write down in my notes that I will always remember. And so when you read a large amount of books, you have one piece of knowledge from every place that you've read and from all these different disciplines and people. And so you can sort of stack those skills and all of that knowledge together and hold it as your own. The fourth best purchase you can make in your 20s is on education. Education doesn't have to be traditional school like we all grew up in. And in fact, according to Forbes, Blue-collar jobs are steadily becoming more and more popular, and I think we all know why. It's because colleges have slowly been failing us. They used to promise us higher paying jobs with more certainty in fields that were actually useful and needed, but that job market doesn't really fit anymore. And college is getting way too expensive and student loans are out of control. So I think you're far better off learning skills that you want to learn and spending time on the ones that will actually give you a good salary. And the best part is you can learn pretty much anything on the internet. You can do it for free here on YouTube or spend money on courses and boot camps to get a more packaged experience. It doesn't really matter how you go about it. It just matters that you spend your early years learning as much as possible instead of trying to earn as much as possible. So find something you're interested in and get passionate about it and go all in. And by the way, you usually don't find your passion until you've tried something long enough to get good at it. And then you get passionate about it. So when you're learning something new, don't just watch one 30-minute video and say, I'm not interested. Spend a little bit of time committing to it. Spend 10, 20, or 30 hours dedicated to learning that skill. And then if it's not interesting, you can move on to the next thing. But my point is that the internet is full of amazing information that you can use to teach you new skills that will level up your ability to make money and also level up your ability to think. So make sure that you leverage it. Coming in at number 5 is a Roth IRA. Now, a Roth IRA is going to be one of the most powerful investment accounts that you open as a 20-year-old, aside from your 401k if your job offers that. And the reason for this is because you can put up to $7,000 per year as of 2025 into it, and that money gets to grow tax-free the rest of your life until age 59 and a half. Meaning that if you put $7,000 into it and it grew to $100,000 by the time you retired, you get that full $100,000 tax-free. The IRS does not get to touch it. And if you're 20 and you're not making much money yet, $7,000 per year can sound like a lot, but if you break it down, really it's only about $270 per paycheck, which if you work 5 days a week, that's about $27 per day or around $3.38 per hour. So if you can set aside a little over $3 per hour and invest that and help it grow your wealth, it's really going to start to snowball, especially as you get into your 30s. And the nice part about starting early is you really don't need to complicate your investing strategy. You can just buy some basic index funds like VOO, SPLG, or SPY, and then put your investing on autopilot so you never miss a payment, and then you don't really need to think about it anymore. And then you could spend your other money on the rest of the items on this list. Now that's about as basic and as simple as it gets, while still being incredibly powerful to push you towards financial freedom early on. Number 6 is purchasing experiences over stuff. Now when I say experiences, really what I mean is anything that's going to create a memory or help you connect socially with other people. And the goal is to not spend money on things like new clothes every week or upgrade your phone every chance you get, but instead spending your money on things that would create a lasting memory. Go out to eat with your family, go on a trip of a lifetime with some close friends. Try a new hobby that you never imagined you would get into. So with this purchase, the goal is to fill up your memory bank, not your money bank. And this is also the time to really experiment with who you want to become. Because when we're young, we're told by our parents and our friends and pretty much anybody older than us what to do and who to be. And that's because they're older and they seem wiser and they seem like they have everything together. But then as you get older, you realize that nobody really has anything figured out. And so when you're in your 20s, you finally have the freedom and the independence to make your own decisions and shape who you really want to become. So don't be afraid to spend some money on experiences to help you get there. Now, the final purchase in this list is, in my opinion, the best investment you can make when you're in your 20s, and that is a notebook. Now, a $20 notebook can be one of the best investments that you make in your entire life, and that's because it gives you the ability to write, and there is zero difference between writing and thinking. Zero. Now, I mainly use it for writing down my thoughts, my goals, and my ideas. So writing down your thoughts daily allows you to unscramble that mess that's in your mind and put it down on paper to give you a better picture of what's going on inside your head. I don't know if you feel like this too, but oftentimes the thoughts in our head can feel like waves in the ocean, but then once we write them down, they're like still waters. And it's very difficult for us to see our thoughts clearly until we've written them down and then also read them out loud. And I promise you, many of the anxious thoughts that you have that feel very real to you will lose their luster once they're on paper. Now, writing down goals is an incredibly powerful way to hold yourself accountable to the things that you said you were going to do. And that's because talking about things is easy, but action is difficult. So if you have goals written down, you can read them over and over again and remind yourself on a daily basis what you said you were going to do. And this in turn keeps it at the forefront of your mind so that you have a greater probability of taking action to achieve your goals. Every year I have my goals written down in a notebook and also on a big calendar in my office so that I can see them on a daily basis and remind myself what I should be working on. And lastly, writing down ideas is really the only way that you're going to hit the lottery in what I call your idea bank. And this is pretty much a place where you just write down any idea that comes to mind. And this is because most of our ideas are like smoke. We're unable to grasp them and they leave as quickly as they arrived. but that's okay. That's how ideas work. I mean, if we acted on every single idea that came to our mind, we would be so overwhelmed and so distracted that we would get nothing accomplished. And so the reason that you write them down is so that you can filter through them later on to see which ones have potential for action and which ones you could just toss to the side. For example, I have a huge list of YouTube ideas in my digital notebook using Obsidian, and most of them don't make the cut, but it provides me with options to create endless content because I always have new ideas that I'm developing and then combining with other ideas. And so go spend $20 on a notebook and start writing. I promise it will change your life. So there you have it. Those are the 7 best purchases that you can make in your 20s. If you like this list, give this video a like. If you have other ideas, or maybe there's something that I missed on this list, please comment it below. I would love to hear what you've bought in your 20s that have really helped you out. If you're new here and you haven't subbed yet, make sure to hit that subscribe button. I'm gonna have a new video coming out every Sunday afternoon. And also check out some of the links below. I left a list of my top 5 favorite investing books that I think you might enjoy. That's it for today. We'll see you in the next one. Peace. Piggybacking. I'm not, fuck that, dude. I'm not saying piggyback. A golden one? What am I saying?